Hello and welcome to my Astronomy Nights. I'm Derek, and in this video I'm looking at the Perseus double cluster. Now the double cluster in Perseus is a lovely physical pairing of two large open clusters, NGC 884 and NGC 869. It's located within the boundaries of the constellation of Perseus between the bright stars of Perseus and Cassiopeia. This is a naked eye object and it has been known since antiquity and probably prehistory, and it was recorded by Hipparchus in 150 BC and then subsequently by Plato, and it was also noted in Al-Sufi's Book of Fixed Stars. And now it was known to these early astronomers, but it was always classed as a single object, so it wasn't until the advent of the telescope that it was resolved out to two open clusters. Now to locate the double cluster in Perseus is quite easy. It's just 4 degrees away from Eta Persei, so the main thing is to find Eta Persei. Now to locate Eta Persei, you want to find that bright star at the centre of Perseus, Myrfrak or Alpha Persei, and it makes a little line of 3 stars with Eta being on the other end of that little line and Gamma in the centre. So find Eta, and then you want to look for Gamma Cassiopeia, and then you want to move between that line. If you go 4 degrees in that direction, you'll see that haze. It's about 1 degree in diameter, which is about twice the size of a full moon, so it is quite large. And when you locate it, then you'll see that little hazy patch in the sky, and that's your double cluster. The western component of the double cluster is NGC 869, has a magnitude of 5.3 and a diameter of just around ½ a degree. Now this one is made up mostly of white and blue-white stars, but it does have slightly more clumping and grouping than NGC 884. There is a lovely little arc to look out for in the middle as well, a little arc of stars if you can get a bit of magnification onto it. And then it's just dotted a little bit then throughout by orange-red stars. So NGC 884 is the easternmost component of the pairing, and this one shines at a magnitude of 6.1, but it has that same diameter size of in around ½ a degree. It has more orange and red-orange stars throughout, and it has a lovely asterism within it of a diamond with the tail, which is very reminiscent of the constellation Delphinus, and it just makes that little diamond shape with a couple of the white and red stars within it. Now it's much easier to pull out the colour in the stars in this one, and they're easier to locate, and I think if you start with this one and look for the red stars and then move to NGC 869, it's much easier. And the red star in the centre of this one kind of starts that arc that moves up above the two of them in kind of a sail shape. For collecting the data for these images, I used my EVOLUX 82 ED on the NEQ6 mount, and then I had my QHY 163 mono camera on it with a passive 4 filters, which was luminance RGB. Now collecting the data on this one, I got it back in May when we had that really nice spell of weather, because I got a good few targets then. And then I was able to observe it then at the start of this month for this video with the same telescope. Now with the camera on it, it's a crop sensor, so don't use any flattener or corrector on it, and it just has that 530mm focal length with a crop sensor, and it fitted really well. It kind of sat directly in the middle. I think I would have framed it slightly differently, but I think it framed quite well. The only issue then was when I was collecting the colour data, I didn't cool it correctly, so there's a little bit of noise throughout those. So I think if I got another run at it, maybe at the end of this year, I'll get the camera cooled correctly and try to get a better image. So for observing the double cluster, I find it very relaxing. It's a wide field object, so you can sit it on that short focal length telescope, and it takes it a long time to move through your field of view if you're just using a manual mount. And it's lovely to just take in the whole kind of field of it. I find with the images don't really do it justice, because it's kind of an overall observation that you do. Like, you can throw on magnification and look deeper into the clusters, but it's that overall view that's fantastic with it when you have a wide field telescope, or even a large set of binoculars show this really well. The thing with images, they just don't capture this, the kind of the essence of the double cluster. I think the big thing about it is that when you're observing it, you're observing it as a whole. You're not looking for any kind of details within it. and it's just that wide field observation of this one that's fantastic. When I was observing it, I used my 2-inch eyepiece, which is a 24mm Explore Scientific, and it has that 82-degree field of view, so it framed it really well with the 530mm focal length, and I only found myself changing it to just kind of pick up some of the little details within NGC 869, because there's little clumpings and little stuff in it. But I think on the wide field you can pick up kind of the overall fact that you have those two clusters, and there's a lovely kind of a big arc of stars that runs north towards, say, Gamma Cassiopeia, that direction, and it's like a sail that sits out the top of the two, so you can follow that around between the two of them as well, and it makes a really nice framed image between the two of them. So my main observations for this one were done with my 82mm refractor, that's the EVOLUX 82, and I was using my wide field eyepieces with it. I have a 32mm Panaview and the 24mm Explore Scientific. I found that with the refractor I was able to frame it quite nicely, and then you have those pinpoint stars. With my Dob it's quite overwhelming, the amount of stars. It's fantastic to look at with a large aperture, but you kind of lose that overall look of the clusters. And when I had the refractor on it, you could really pick out that lovely colour. The red colour in the stars were picked up really well, the orange red, especially in 884. And then again, you could follow that there's a couple of them running down the center, and you could compare the redness between the two clusters, because 869 has much more white and blue-white stars within it. Now within 884 there's a lovely little asterism. It's got this diamond with a tail, and it's very much like the small constellation Delphinus. It shows up really well as well under moonlight, so you can see that asterism quite clearly even if you haven't got a perfectly dark night. And then in turn, in NGC 869 you have this really tight clumping towards the center. There's not as many orange or orange-red stars in it, but you have that clumping of the blue and white stars. There's a lovely little, it's like a little horseshoe shape that sits within it, and if you have some magnification that you can put on it, it's a really nice thing to go and search for. Now overall, the double cluster is just a fantastic object to go and have a look at. If you have even just binoculars or your naked eye, you can get out and search for it, and it shows up really well in small optics. So even if you only do astrophotography, if you had an eyepiece that you could pop into it, you can get some really lovely views of this object. I had great fun taking the photo. I love to get back at it again. I've observed it many times, but photographing it was my first time doing so, because I had a longer focal length up to now for my photography, so I'm going to enjoy trying this a few times over the coming years. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and clear skies.